I turned that light off. It was making some weird glare. Sometimes, I don't know. And then I wonder sometimes, is it even, maybe it's just my eyes. I don't know. Oh my God, I am so sore. I swear to God, I've got all this wood getting delivered. I got to move some wood today because it's a lot of work to do this wood, man. I'm telling you. I mean, I love to do it because I always feel so much stronger when I'm done. But it's hard work, especially when my shoulders are already hurting so bad. I don't even know what the hell. I just feel soreness of poison. But anyways, I definitely don't think, this is like a safe time to go move. Like, even if you look at the doomsday map and you're going like, fuck, I'm right in the flood zone. Because I know in the map, the Mississippi is going to go way out. So if I lived anywhere that was along the Mississippi, I'd fucking go look at that map and see like how close it's going to get to where you are. And even if you can't, I mean, just like, because to me, I've been sitting here this whole time feeling like a sitting duck, like, fuck, but I don't, I mean, it is like when there's no place else to go, what are you going to do? Like my one daughter, she would really like me to come down there and hurry up and do this whole thing and come down there and get a place in Yakima. So, I can be close to the babies. And to me, I'm going to get a place, so when I go visit them, I have my own place. But I want my places to be making money when I'm not in them. And this place, if it is a survivor, I'm not going to be all like, lucky me, lucky me. But I mean, I would be very much like feeling very blessed for sure. But there would be so many people who are losing so much, so I don't want to come across as like that, and especially because I don't know the future for sure at all either. Like this place could be gone with tons of other people's homes. And, who knows, how this is all going to go down. I mean, it's such a little part and it has no attachment to the USA other than, maybe a part of Canada after this. I don't know. A lot's going to be changing, but I, looking at that map and seeing where it was, I was like, well, that would be a pretty cool place to have a cabin. Like, definitely, I would think, there would be a lot of people who would want to go there to visit and have a place to stay, and I think one thing too is it's not going to be like a lot of hotels and stuff. There's just going to be a lot of jobs that are going to go away that were a lot of work. And corporations were the one benefit and having people, but even small ones. So I think really small, like bed and breakfast, of small little, travel motels and stuff. I think those are going to become popular because I think travel is going to become so much more popular. But it also is very curious, like how we're going to travel. Like if we're going to be traveling in these egg things or something, these hovering egg craft things. So, I don't know. I mean, you hear all sorts of stuff. And one of the things, let me just think of what that was. One of the things is, when I went on TikTok, there, you always pass by these lives. All of a sudden, this one just really hit me, because it was right what he was saying when I was going. And he's like, okay, yes, you're clear cognizant. I was like, what the hell? So people are going and paying these charlatans to tell them what psychic abilities they have? Are you joking? I'm like, oh my God, people in their spiritual awakening are like, oh my God, they are like, oh my God, there's so much they don't understand. Like, oh my goodness gracious. I bet anybody, like, you don't go and ask somebody else, like, what are my gifts? Like, you'll know your gifts. They'll just, like, and everybody's got them. It's what the effort and that you put into them. Like, everybody's got them. It's just, how much time do you spend trying to work them out? And, some people have more of it naturally, and some people have to work harder at it. But everybody has it. But you don't go out and then pay somebody to tell you if you are or not. I was like, what? Man, some of this stuff is such nonsense. And I mean, people got to learn that everything, your answers are inside. Like, go in and ask. And it's real easy to start, noticing, like, if you hear your phone ding, and then close your eyes and think of what it done, and what was the signal, what was it showing you. I'm 100%, I'm very rare. Am I wrong? I don't have to look at my phone to know. You just tune into something, and once you start seeing what it feels like to be right, then you'll start being able to recognize that feeling. It's like tapping into that feeling. So the same thing as like what I was talking about with the communication. So you can start recognizing the communication, start talking to yourself, asking yourself questions and stuff. And then you can start recognizing the communication that is happening and where it's happening in your mind, so that you can realize. And you know, it's also kind of trippy. In that one guy where I was talking about, he was doing that whole breakdown of, our mind, like how everything that they tell us is really what's going on inside of us, kind of thing. But anyways, so the mind with the celestial, terrestrial, telestial or something. And I was like, oh, that when I was thinking about the different voices that you hear in your head, then it was like, oh, I wonder if that has something to do with it. What part of your mind that you're communicating with, and if that has to do with vibration, frequency, your resonance with the celestial, terrestrial, that whole thing. Because there definitely is different. Like, there's real quiet, there's loud, like there's different. You'll see. But you just got to start recognizing the different. And so you don't just think every single thing going on in your head that you're creating that, because it's not that way. There was something about, oh yeah, this was kind of cool. So the whole thing with that Damar guy, the Buffalo Bill guy, he, I saw somebody do this whole breakdown thing. I hadn't seen one of these in a long while. Man, these people are fascinating. Like these code breakers, like some of their minds just is trippy, how they can just look at these things. They see like these numbers, they see the patterns, they see this, they see how many of that, and all this stuff. It's crazy. I really enjoy watching these people do that. But so there was a whole bunch. I guess Damar, I think his name is, he did some sort of a public, public thing while he was in the hospital room. Like, they came in and took pictures or video or whatever of him sitting in his bed, and then two people on each side. And so the person who was doing this video was breaking down, like, there was a certain thing of how their t-shirt, I mean, it is crazy, the stuff, and how the shadows fall, and the shadow falls on there, and there's 9 of those to show the, like, it is so crazy. I'm telling you, I know I'm saying it's crazy a lot, but it is. It's like, wow, it blows my mind. But so there was a whole bunch in his. And the person was like, this has definitely got to be, that was a setup. That was not real. He did all that to get attention on something, to get people talking. So that was like the white hats were doing, a staged event, like the dark side does all the time, their stage events. And that's what I think, like with Anne Heche. Like, I think that there's been a bunch. That's why it's like, it's very confusing when you have both sides. But I get why the white hats are doing it, because they got to trick the other side, which I just saw Trump. There was a bunch of people sharing. He spoke or something. I don't know if he went live or whatever. But he was bringing it right up on there into the surface, how they deceived us all. That's why I kept trying to tell people. That is why he was pushing. He had to show he was trusting them. He can't go into the public. Hey, you know what? I looked in Looking Glass. You know, the NSA and I are working with them. They're about to kill millions of people. So, you know, you can't do that. He said the people have to see. He said it about a zillion times through 2020. The people have to see for themselves. Anybody who wakes up sees. Everybody has to see for themselves. Once they see, you can't unsee what you see. But everybody has to open their own eyes and see for themselves. And so you can't go in and say, but now I knew that was going to be the thing, is that they tricked us all. Look at this. They tricked the president of the United States. Like, that's how evil these people are. So that's going to be part of the whole show, you know, as far as I'm concerned. So that's already, you know, coming. And that is one I for sure was like, that for sure is how that's going to play out. And the, what was the other one? Because this, the Damar thing or whatever, he has had a whole bunch of different things where it was showing the different branches of the system, and all of it. It was trippy, but it was definitely made me think like this. They're slapping them in the face, and they're showing like, I'm like, it's on right now. Like, things are moving fast, even if they don't feel fast to us. I think things are moving a lot quicker behind the scenes, for sure. It's all coming to the surface, all the fighting, like even when you think about how much was being done in the tunnels under us, underground, under our knowing, and how everything is rising to the surface. The light is being shown. So it's like light is being brought to the battle. So more and more is being exposed to us, and more is being seen. And you know what's also trippy is how much is being on Twitter. I guess Twitter is just like releasing so much information. And then people I've seen pointing out what's going on TikTok. And I said this such a long time ago. I knew this was happening, and now other people are saying they're sure of it too. But they take like a certain group of us, the algorithm, a certain group of us truth speakers, you know, the awakening people, and they put us into our own little echo chamber. So we're all just talking to each other. And I said that a long while ago. I said, because it was on my old TikTok account that I noticed that. And I said, man, I think that we're all just in one little area talking to each other. I don't think we're waking anybody up. Just keep on talking to each other about this shit. And so now other people are noticing that too. But and you know, and I know, I mean, they've done it on this account too, whatever they've done to put it in some sort of like weird space. But all of that is going to change, you know. Everything is going to just, you know, blow up and go the other direction. And that is what is so trippy too with the whole thing. Like, I know the map is the future, like that for sure. I mean, yeah, I thought that when Dolores Cannon was talking about it, because not only, I don't remember, I think it was the signs. When you're watching the signs, when you're reading the signs, and like she said, all these naval people are retiring and moving up in the high hills, like up where the hillbillies are. She's like, this is weird. Like, what in the hell is going on? And then looking at their projected naval map, it showed like those safe places to go. But I was thinking Wyoming would be safe. And, but I don't know, because, you know, I keep looking where my space is. Like, you got to look at your own to kind of get the idea if, you know, yours is going to be changing, because it definitely is going to be changing. And so, but I don't know if some of it's going to be kind of slow. I kind of feel like this cyclone thing is going to definitely change things, especially these 3 back-to-back. That it's definitely going to change things on the water, like Pakistan. Like when that happened in Pakistan, the map changed. It hadn't changed back. And that's what's going to happen, I think, in California, and maybe in parts of Oregon, and could possibly even be Seattle. So, you know, that's the thing, is we just don't know. I mean, they're going to keep slamming us with one thing after another. And, you know, the earth is going to continue to keep changing. It's all part of, you know, and if it's the chicken or the egg, you know, if they caused it, and, you know, but no matter what, it's written, it's happening. There's nothing to change it. And that map thing, I think, is kind of our guide to where is going to be the safe place, because there's definitely going to be this cataclysm kind of thing. And so, you know, it could be several different things that are going to happen to keep changing it and stuff. You know, and that just shows there's going to keep being one thing after another until Louisiana's gone, until the Mississippi takes over like fucking 5 or 6 states. And, you know, until the whole coastline is changed, shit is going to keep going down. So even if you, you know, it's kind of like just start in your communication with your guides and stuff, if you haven't already, asking them, you know, where you're supposed to go. And then, you know, ask for like comfort or something. Ask them to give you peace of mind, to know you are where you're supposed to be, and to take away the fear of death. Because even at the moment of death, it's a release. It's like joyful. And it's the build up to it. It's the energy we put into it that creates the fear of the unknown. And if we could start beginning to trust ourselves and trust the unknown, but that is going to be a part of this whole process that people are going to be going through in this transformation. This was kind of interesting too. I saw this lady, and she was talking about, she went in to get her hair braided, and the women working were African. And so they were talking about the difference between African women and American women. And so she got in on the conversation, and she said, you know, like, if American women went to Africa, the African women would be very kind and sweet and nice to them. But when African women come to America, they don't want anything to do with American women, because American women are hateful, they're defensive, they are I mean, drama. Like, their priorities are all messed up. They said that they don't have any value to life. They said there's no priorities, and they're just like kind of hateful. It's like that's the shit that has to be healed in America. That's why there's going to be so much trauma and tragedy that's going to go on. It's all for people to fucking reprioritize to see what's important. Because if you don't have that ability, well, you know, I mean, it's not like your soul has no ability. Your soul could very much just be going home back to its own reality where it comes from. But if you're here for this process that I talk about all the time, then yeah, you have to do the reprioritizing. You can't go into a high vibration prioritizing something low. You're prioritizing the low vibration, holds you in, binds you down to the low vibration. That is what, you know, this whole problem with these people trying to break free from the 3D world. They are attached. They're holding on to something that's low vibration. It's so, I don't know, it just trips me out. Like, you know, even when I say, like, with the spiritual people and stuff like that. And, you know, just, like, oh, let's go manifest $1 million. It's like, that's not spiritual. Like, that's not, you know, it's different than that. You know, spirit is not going to be, it's like you lose your desire for the material world. Like, the material world doesn't have the same significance to you. As you spiritually advance, it's your soul. It's what your soul wants is way more important to you. Like, I can totally see if Jesus really existed, like that whole concept of just put on your sandals and go walk around talking to people, and you'll be fulfilled. You don't need all the things that what people, you know, value. I started some movie, it kept popping up on my thing. So finally I started it. Another one did that too, and it started by itself, you know. So a lot of times I just let the algorithm take control of the TV, and I'll find the best shows doing that. But the astronaut's wife popped up, and it kept on and kept on. I was like, I'm not watching that. And then one day yesterday it just started by itself, and I was like, okay, so you want me to see something? And I couldn't. I could not get past Johnny and Charlize. I was like, ugh, my skin is crawling. I can't. No fucking way. And so I didn't watch it, but this other one, it was called Cracky, I think. And so when it starts, they're just like at a garbage dump. It seems like they're like scrounging, but oh my God, it is repulsive how much garbage. And it just, you know, how people just dedicate their lives, go work, and then go buy shit that ends up in a fucking dump that just is garbage everywhere. It's so gross. I swear to God, it's like people just puke their fucking consumerism all over the planet or something. I don't know. It was so disgusting. And I even did a video about it. I was just like, oh my God, this is so gross when you see like the debris of the consumer, when it's not all pretty stacked up on the shelves and it's just littering giant areas of just debris of unwanted things anymore. I was like, and this wasn't garbage stuff. This was like junk. It was so huge, like recliners, couches, mattresses, toys, just, oh my God, just the consumerism. And then plus, you know, that's how these motherfuckers make all their money. And how they spend their money is atrocious. It's disgusting. I just saw, what was that? It's a show on Netflix, and it's Austrian. It was weird because it was like more than one story inside the story. And something like the dead woman speaks, or woman of the dead, or something like that. And it's a short series, it's 6 episodes. And this woman's trying to solve her husband's crime. And because something happened to her husband, he was a cop, and so she's trying to figure out what happened. And it shows, and this is everywhere. But in this little town, there's these men who would get together, and then girls that would come into town traveling, they would kidnap them and drug them, and then they would take them and torture, terrorize, and murder, the whole thing, just like hostel. And so they were doing their own little hostel situation. And that is, you know, been in so many more places. This was Austria, I think. And I don't know the first hostel where it was. I think some probably over by there. But, you know, that is all true. Like, I mean, being a young person traveling, especially, man, and I wanted to go and do that. Like, I got my Eurail pass. I was so mad that the person I went with didn't want to go and travel around. That's all I wanted to do so bad. I wanted to go to Africa. I wanted to go to Egypt. I just wanted to get on the train and just go. And now see, like, oh my God, you know, I didn't know they were, you know, kidnapping people so rich people could torture them for fun. Like, God damn, this world, creepy fucking shit, man. So, anyways, that Stella is on the move, and it's so dark I can't barely see her. And she's going around panting. I'm so worried about her. I just wish this would hurry and be over with. Fuck. And I don't know. It's gonna have to be so abrupt if it's gonna happen by the 20th. Because I think today's the 12th. Like, we got 8 days for a lot of shit to go down. I don't know. I've heard so many of these different numbers and stuff, especially about deadlines on the money thing. I can't believe how many deadlines I've heard on the money thing. And it just keeps going and going, like, where they have to produce this and produce that. And it's like, oh my God, how do they get away with this shit? It's because nobody fucking pays attention. Nobody knows what the fuck's going on. They just sit around, like, you know, worrying about where they're going Friday night and what they're going to wear. It's like, God damn. But the, you know, the whole thing too with the map, because I know, like, for some of y'all, it feels the same way. Like, oh my God, do I got to get out of here? But where do I go? Where is there a safe place to go? Because legitimately, there is no safe place to go. All places are going to be under attack. And that's why it's just so important to really listen to your soul, is where they're telling you to go. You know, if they're telling you it's time to move, and your move may be leave everything behind. You know, I mean, things are going to change. I put on that show for a minute, that Revolution, and it's from 2012, and I don't know how many episodes. Maybe the guy said there's like 42 episodes altogether, something for 2 years. And so it was like all of a sudden all the lights went out, and it was like, because this was some guys on the freeway when the show starts, and showing them go out, because it's like one, you know, it's not all of them at once. It was like they went out like something turning it off, and it just, I don't know, it's weird. But as that happened and then it went completely dark, that is when all of the airplanes started falling out of the sky. And it was airplanes all over, just falling down out of the sky, which I'm sure it wouldn't be as many as what was on the show. There would still, if you know, if that's what's going to happen with this pole shift magnetic thing, and you know, and that's, I mean, there's going to be more disasters, 100%. Like, the disasters are not going to stop until things, like, a lot of things have to happen cosmically before the shit's going to stop. Like, there's a lot. We've still got a lot of ways to go on that whole thing. And, you know, and I don't know, because I was thinking about this when that girl was showing the map, you know, and everybody is, you know, I mean, with the water stuff going on right now, and then all of the sun and the moon, like, moving, like, it's clear that we're about to have the shift, and it has something to do with the collective, you know, how many people are awake, and then so that shift will happen, you know, fast. Like, to me, that's not going to be slow. That's going to be abrupt. It's going to be very, you know, like, kind of like, whoa, what the hell just happened, I think. And so, you know, and I don't know if it is, I don't think it's the solar flash event. I swear to God, I still think that that would be separate. I think this is the awakening thing. This is everything going right side up, because we're in the upside down. And so what's that flip? Because that's part of the awakening. That's the part where people have to see the truth. That's clarity. And so then that is when people still have to heal. To me, it's that outrage, it's the healing, it's all that process that is that energy that creates the harvest, the solar flash. And the solar flash, that is why, because, you know, back when I was hearing about this stuff before, in the awakening and stuff, back in 2015, 2016, whenever it was, then it was you would be healing and raise your vibration. I might be getting, I'm positive it was, I was aware of the healing, because I'd already started that part. But this was so new in my thing. I mean, this was, you know, so much earlier. But when we were talking then, it was the solar flash was going to be when the ships were going to come. Well, we've got ships everywhere already, but there was always going to be ships that were going to come. But the ships were going to come and help us to resettle. So this could be what, you know, we were perceiving as the solar flash, is this whole, you know, the whole change, you know, and that is going to be it. But to me, to us, how it seemed at the time was that that you had to raise your vibration. Like, you got an opportunity to raise your vibration, so that when the earth changed, that some people would be here and some people wouldn't, and the people who couldn't do the vibration, they would have to leave. But I mean, like, right now, it'd be like like, most of the people would have to leave, you know, because nobody's got to awaken yet. They hadn't even flipped over. So I don't know. You know, that's the thing of trying to read the signs and, you know, pay attention and all of that stuff. So it's, a wait and see kind of situation. I know from my guides are constantly, like, I know that I'm here for the whole thing, like, for the stuff that they tell me and show me and stuff. Like I said, that's like it's like my whole life led up to this role that I'm about to play. Like, that's what they have shown me. Like, all of it was for this, what's about to go down. So I know my life's just starting. But, I just think people really got to see it's not sad if you don't see anything past this. If you think this is the end for you, it's not sad at all. It is, people really got to get it out of their heads about death. And that is a sad, scary thing, because it's not. It's a freaking, like, it's the best thing in the whole world. like when you die, like, people feel so happy, and so, like, they remember all of a sudden who they are. They remember that they are loved. They remember they are loved. Like, you just have such a sense of peace and unity. Like, it's the struggle is in life, the division in life, and it's created. And since, I'm in this reality right now, I don't know, how much of whatever each reality creates its own scenarios for the experience or something, kind of like for the soul. It's like, oh, do you want to go over here? Do you want to go to Reno? Do you want to go, And yesterday I saw also, was this, what was that movie? Because it was, oh yeah, it was called Promised Land. I couldn't finish it either. It was annoying, but it was from the 80s. And it was just, God, some of the stuff that they put on for people is so fucking mindless. I swear to God, they were trying to train us on purpose to be mindless idiots. I swear to God. And, but it was showing this whole part with, I thought that they were in Vegas. Oh yeah, because they were getting one of those quickie weddings, and they had known each other 3 days, and they were drunk, out partying together, and decided to get married. And while I was watching that, and I thought it was in Vegas, but then it showed it was in Reno. So I was like, oh my God, there was more of them. But when I thought it was Vegas, I was like, oh my God, look at that. Not only did they get the whole fucking thing for the government with gambling, porn, I mean, they had prostitution, like that. There was so much stuff that was going on there to draw people in to do dark crimes, you know what I mean? And then to trap them into, in their drunken state, to trap them into some sort of fucking government institution of marriage, where then you have all of this trappings and shit. It was like, oh my God. So essentially Las Vegas, Reno, Atlantic City were all just like fucking mousetraps, energetic mousetraps for people to, and some people like gambling. Oh my gosh. It just really hit me when I saw them standing there getting married, all drunk. It was like Kiefer Sutherland and Meg Ryan. And I was like, oh my God, some of these movies are so stupid. I don't even know what the hell happened. Maybe it, ended up having something good happen in it. I don't know. It just was annoying me when people just sit and play so stupid and so mindless and so immoral and so, like, who gives a fuck about anything? It's like that's the difference. Like, the programming when I was a kid, it was very much like, you better care. You better care, and you better go to church. You better fucking all that stuff. It was very much in that. But that is what those people, those women in Africa, that is missing over here. People think they can just get away with shit. They don't feel like there's consequences to their actions. It's like, I mean, I was taught well at 3 years old when they were talking to me and told me. And they made it clear to me that there was consequences. And so, I was a concept I was able to get at 3 years old. I don't know what the hell is wrong with people. I think it's their disconnect in their soul. And that is, part of the programming. Get you to focus on their reality and to run around chasing what they tell you to chase so that you don't have time for yourself. And that whole thing about being mindful, taking time for your mind, where you're filling yourself with you. And not enough people take that me time. Me time is all about you. It's your transformative time. It's your mindful time. It is your opportunity to reflect on self. And they don't want you to have mindful time, me time. They don't want you to have that. They want you to hurry up. They would prefer you to work 3 or 4 jobs, never have a second to sit down. And so they keep inflating the cost of prices so that you just go work, 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 work. And people are willing to do it. It's crazy. People are willing to go and work their whole fucking life, never, get 10 minutes of a weekend. And they think that's all worth it. It's like, yeah, but if you changed your priorities, you could have all your time could be your weekend time, and your work time could be the small amount of time. There's a whole pattern change. There's a template flip. And, but so many people, they're so, like just the worker bees, they're happy just to fly back and forth, but they have to want more for themselves in order to, make the change that they desire in their life. Like everybody has the opportunity to make any change they want for themselves, but it is truly your own view of yourself is what holds you back. If you think you can't succeed, then you won't succeed. If you believe in yourself, which is important, even if you have nobody, like I've talked about before, even if you've got nobody in your corner, you have to be the one who is pushing you. I know I've had to do it through my life all the time. And, but you have to be strong. Even when you're weak, you have to be strong, because it's really crazy when I look back even on myself and I think about like this weak, scared little girl, and, but I was a fighter, I wasn't going to be put down, and, I wasn't going to not be true to myself. Like, even if somebody made fun of me or whatever, I saw it as their problem. Like, they've got, they're mean. But that doesn't mean I didn't feel beat down all the time, But now I can see, like, oh my gosh, about the energy, and, it was something else what was keeping me going that I didn't realize. It's like, that is the part of the awakening when you really start figuring out who and what you really are. And that is also very transformative, because then you really understand how powerful you really are when you can step into yourself, and realize, like, that you're super cool. But you got to quit seeing yourself through other people's eyes, because everybody else's eyes, if you look through anyone else's eyes to see you, it's through distortion. It's through how they see themselves. So if they see themselves, well, I should have done this, I should have done that, I need to do this, I need to do that, then that's what they're going to project onto you. So if you are going to start feeling like there's something wrong with you, you're inferior, you're not good enough, that's why you have to not see yourself through someone else's eyes. You have to begin to understand yourself through your own eyes. And the only way to do that is through development of understanding who you are. And that's the me time. That's the time you need. And that's the time that the system wants to short you on. They don't want you to have that time. They want you to just, go get some piddly ass fucking job and pay your taxes. And, if you want anything in this world, then you better get a second job or a third job. And then they'll come in with their fucking fake ass storms and take it all away from you and make you have to buy another one. It's their game they play. And I was thinking, that's kind of funny, how they made their whole new motto about you'll own nothing and be happy. Well, that's probably why they're just going to beat it out of people. Like, every time you get something, we're going to just take it away from you. to the point where you just don't want anything because you're sick of having it taken away. But just remember that everything that they can take away is stuff that doesn't matter. It's the energy you put into it. You're the one who thinks it matters. You can't take it with you. It doesn't matter. What you can take with you is moments. What you can take with you is relationships. What you can take with you is your own energy that you put out into the world, your legacy. That's what you carry with you. It's who you leave behind in the room when you walk out of the room. Do you leave, like I said, you leave people wanting more, or you leave people going, like, taking a breath, like, fuck, I'm glad she's gone. You know what I mean? And that's individual. You can't get, caught up in each person. Like, oh, that person, every time I come, they don't like me. That's their problem. It's not something you need to worry about. People get so hung up on thinking that they got to get everybody to like them. Some people won't like you just because you're a totally different vibration than them. It just feels awkward. It feels odd to be around you. It's a vibration. And so that can be, so you can't sit and worry about, like, you got to go and change, because Uncle Bob down the road, he always thinks that you do this or you do that, so you better go change that. No, you need to spend time with yourself. Well, so what if, they think you do this or that? What do you think of that? What does your guidance tell you? Because you're here to learn from your stuff. And, maybe that's something that you're supposed to be learning from. You're supposed to observe yourself doing this thing, So other people can't tell you what you need to do in your life. And that is a big thing that people are going to have to start really coming to terms with. You cannot control other people's life experience, no matter how much you feel you need to, because, like, people do it. Control comes from fear. When you got to control somebody else or somebody else, it's a fear inside of you, whatever that fear is. Things are going to be out of control, or, you fear for the person. But even in the most horrible, tragic situations, that soul is there to learn from their stuff. That's just the way it is. Like, no matter how much people want to think it's something else, and just as weird, because there's a lot of, spiritual concepts that people are really just not there yet, And religion is definitely a roadblock. So many people think religion is the path to God, and it's so controlled and so full of bumps and lies and manipulation. And then, these super spirits, whatever, the 3D gurus, who are misleading people. But the whole thing is wherever you're at, if you're being misled, it is to bring that to the surface, just like what I said he was going to do. It's like you can't trust others with your health. You can't trust others with your view of the world. You can't trust others with, I knew that was going to be a big thing that was going to be coming up for the collective, that was something that they had to see. And you can see it over and over and over, how much people put their trust into other people and how confused they are in the spiritual awakening. Like, they get so, like, really scared about things, and, like, some people have just got to realize, like, this world was always around you. It's always been around you, and you just didn't realize it because you were focused where they told you to focus, but it was always there, And so with people waking up, like, they keep getting really scared of everything. And but there is things to be scared of, like, for sure. Because, there are skinwalkers and all that stuff. All of that stuff is real. We're just animals on a planet, and other beings that can go and multi-dimensional travel can come here for supper. Easy. I think Bigfoot is not human hunter, like that giants are, those wendigos, those skinwalkers, all those things. There's all sorts of creatures that come from other places, probably just want to come and taste stuff. What's a human taste like, then go back home and tell everybody. I don't know. But no matter what, no matter if you die or whatever, your soul planned its whole exit. It planned its whole thing. There's nothing that's going to happen to you that wasn't always going to happen to you. And so, and however you choose to exit this place, and a lot of people choose like some dramatic situations. And right now, though, that is the one good thing is I kind of like the just dropping dead thing for how much people are going to be dying, because there's going to be so much death. You know, I like the dropping dead one so much better, even though it's really tragic for people experiencing it because it's so sudden. But it's way better than watching someone suffer. Suffering is, suffering, and then the worry, and people get so scared. And it's way faster. They just drop dead and they're just out. And then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, I didn't know I was leaving already. And I'm like, you're just standing there. Yeah, you did. You just forgot. Let's go. Got things to do. So, you know, it's not at all a sad or scary thing. It's all what we put into it. And so, anyways, there's one thing I feel when I see people just drop dead suddenly. It's like a relief. It's the people going through, like to me, just this sickness, like having every fucking thing on your body hurt like this is fucking bullshit. Especially when you know they're fucking poisoning you. It's like these motherfuckers. But, you know, the sicknesses and stuff. But there's all lessons in all of that. Like, there's reasons why every single thing happens. Every single soul. Every single thing is the expansion of the universe. So, you know, I don't know. There's just a lot that people just have to really shift their minds and really start understanding life from a soul's perspective. That's my theory. So, anyways, I am going to go look some more on TikTok and see if there's any more stuff going on. There should be. I mean, there's so many people without power, and so many people, I don't get how they even get to put videos on when there's no power or Wi-Fi. But if I'm just that big cyclone thing, like, I don't know. We'll see how it hits. But that other storm should be hitting today. Then I think that other one hits Friday into Saturday is the really big one. So I don't know. But I'm sure there's storms hitting everywhere, and probably there'll be some earthquakes and volcanoes to go along with them. But, you know, there is some really cool things happening in other countries. Like, man, the people are coming into the streets. They're taking over the government. They're, you know, there's all sorts of things happening that are really exciting. So things are moving. But for sure, whatever the thing that's going to turn us the other direction, that's going to be abrupt. You know, I just don't know that it's going to be just a sudden water thing unless it is something with the sky opening up. But if it's all about the magnetosphere and something with the magnetism shifting, you know, like switching the batteries out, then that to me is more of the airplanes falling out of the sky, not water. That would be if they bust open the firmament. But something's heavy on the firmament, because when I was up at the food bank the other day and I could see the sky really good, it is creepy, because it hadn't been sprayed yet, and the sun was going across. It's so weird how they're fucking sun shit. But so the sun's going across in this weird way. Like, I don't know when. I swear to God, when I was a kid, it was above my head. It was not fucking way out there. Watch the sun go across the so then they were spraying, and that was the day. No, it was Monday I saw the other planet. So Tuesday, this was Tuesday. And so when I looked, because it was like a big dark bruise, and I keep getting that. And so there's a whole place above us that is, you know, like in those snow globes, how it has in the snow globe, like when you look across, holding it, looking like that, how it always has like this space up at the top, like where there's air, there's no water, it's like that little space. That's what it keeps reminding me of, like that little space. And that space is getting more filled or something and pushing down more, because it's like this round thing at the top that looks like this giant round bruise, which discolors the sky, which I think is so strange how people don't notice this. Even when I was sitting there out there and I was doing tons of videos, and there was a long ass line and people are watching me and stuff. One person did say something about, you know, the sun being weird or something, like they were talking over to this other crowd, and nobody got it. You know, people are out there like, yeah, it's a real nice warm day, isn't it? Like, no, that's not normal. Like, that sun is not normal. Like, how can you look at that and think that's normal? You can't even look over in that direction. The color's wrong, everything's wrong with it. And but I know that people are looking at me like I was some sort of wackadoo, but I was like, well, at least then that gets them to start looking like, you know, what's she looking at? What's she looking up out there? You know, and get them to start looking, because when you start looking, you start seeing like shit's fucking weird. Something's going on. So anyways, you know, I don't know. We'll just have to see. Because to me, there's definitely some kind of thing with the water up in the sky. But there's something with the magnetism. All I know is that whatever is going to take us in the other direction, that is going to be an abrupt, just like going from standing or from sitting to standing or standing to sitting or laying on your side and flipping to the other side. That's what it's going to be like. That's what I think. That's how I see it over and over and over and over. And so, I don't know. Just the rest of the stuff, I don't know. It's the stuff that I see that I go out and try and figure out, like, okay, so could that be? Could that be? And that's the part, it's like, you know, so much of this is wait and see. Like, even things that they were showing me, I thought we would have been, like, everybody would have been awake by now. And we would have already been in the Jubilee. Like, I didn't know it was going to take this fucking long. And now I think it's going to take even fucking longer. Like, I think this is going to be going, like, a pretty long time with the healing and all of that stuff. I don't know. 24, I would think definitely all of 23. 24 too. I don't know, and all the astrology things, but that's even something that's going to be changing, because that has come out too about the calendar and how that they had manipulated it, Gregorian calendar, something, and we're going to be switching. So that's a part of this too. They're going to switch us back to this calendar that is on the natural cycle of the earth. And so there's going to be a whole thing of that. There's a lot of stuff that's going to be switching. And in that show, Revolution, see, I didn't keep watching it because it just immediately became super violent and divided. There was a group of people who became like these soldiers. It starts out all sweet, where people are like living on farms and giant communes together, communities, and they farm together and, you know, just building a whole community. And then these mercenary kind of guys come, and then they're going to arrest somebody. And so that's the thing where it was like, I'm not putting any energy into that. Yeah, I think it's going to go to where people are going to build communities and live free and do what they want. But it's also not going to go into completely primitive. We're going to go in a giant leap. We're going to take a quantum leap in technology. Everything that's been repressed from us is going to suddenly be there. So all these, it's going to be mind-blowing, the technology that's going to be coming out. So we're not going to be primitive, but we're going to be able to live free like that, like grow our own food and live in our own space without this control. And so that would be real. And I think there's going to be way more about community and people working together and building community like that, support system. And, you know, and that's why we're not going to be needing money and stuff like that. And from what I understand, that a lot of the traveling and stuff, there's going to be tons and tons. I even heard that some of the money for going back into the population is going to be for like putting up travel centers. So to promote travel, so people aren't just, because there's no reason to just sit in your city anymore. If there's no job that you have to get to, why would you sit there when there's a whole world to explore? So that there's going to be a lot of stuff about traveling and availability for places. So, you know, and I think I've said that all along. That was one of the things why I was doing this place, to get it ready for a traveling place. And so, anyways, you know, there's a lot of stuff that is just still wait and see how everything plays out, you know. And see, I don't know. There's a lot. It's just a lot. So, you know, keep staying safe and stay paying attention, but don't stress. Whatever any of the stuff is, there's nothing to stress, even though it will keep coming up. It keeps coming up for me too, like for sure. You know, it's very tense. It is very much like bracing for impact, like, well, what's going to happen and when's it going to happen? Like, and, but that is where you got to keep doing that self-talk. You know, that is your opportunity. That's your trigger. That is your gift to come up. So you can keep, you know, recognizing, like, and to expand your trust and your faith in yourself in this whole situation. Because the thing that everybody fears is loss and death, and all of that stuff is artificially created. It's not real. So, you know, that's where we have to keep going in and keep reminding ourselves, everything is fine. Everything is fine. There's nothing to fear. There's nothing to fear. We'll get through this, and, you know, see where everything goes. I'm super excited. I feel really, really excited. I mean, definitely, you know, scary of, you know, is all of a sudden they're going to come in with this fucking cyclone and wipe out this whole evacuation route, and I'm completely stuck, you know. But I'm not going to sit there and keep worrying about it. I mean, what if that is going to happen, but it's not going to happen for 3 years? You know, it could be that some of that stuff changing on the map may not be for 3 more years, may not be for 4 more years. I mean, I think some of the stuff on the map they're projecting is like 2034. It seems like even 2040 for some things. So all I know is that Pakistan has already changed. They're changed into the map already. And I think that there's some other places that have too. So I don't know. Just, you know, don't stress about it though. Don't stress about anything can happen that wasn't supposed to happen. Just keep reminding yourself that nothing can happen that's not meant to happen. It's all happening exactly the way it's supposed to happen. And just, you know, keep telling yourself and telling yourself and telling yourself. And everything is going to be okay. Hopefully, you know, hopefully we are going to see something significant by fucking January 20th. But if not, no matter what, it's still coming. It's still all happening. It's still rolling out. Everything is still unfolding. And it's going to unfold exactly the way it's supposed to, just like everything else. So anyway, stay strong and safe and don't stress. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.